We're here with Ohio State Representative Mike Foley and Harriet Applegate, the Executive Director of North Shore AFL-CIO. And we're talking about Issue 5 and Issue 6 here in Cuyahoga County, the so-called real reform done right. And I'd like to start with State Rep Foley. Tell us a little bit about Issue 5 and why it is the better of the two choices between 5 and 6 for reform here in Cuyahoga County.
Issue 5 will put on the ballot in November an opportunity for Cuyahoga County residents to vote for a charter commission, which will allow us to thoughtfully, logically, rationally think about how to take advantage of the strengths we have in Cuyahoga County, minimize the weaknesses we have, and put together a structure for county government that makes sense for us to do both human services, health and human services, arts, education, as well as do better economic development. It's the rational, logical way for all of us to be involved in crafting a government that will help us go forward in the 21st century. 29 people who have signed up to potentially be part of this 15-person commission that will craft the proposal for 2010. We've developed a slate, as you know, the Real Reform Done Right slate, that myself, Harriet Applegate, and a number of good and conscientious folks from Cuyahoga County. It's a good cross-section of the county in terms of black, white, Hispanic, labor, business, business people, good folks in government who've got some experience, are conscientious and thoughtful, and I hope will win in order for us to kind of put together a real process to craft a good county government.
Now, Issue 6 will break up the county into, I believe it's 11 districts, adding a whole new layer of elected officials to the process. It will eliminate some of the positions, but it will have more elected officials than the current system, which is 3 commissioners and elected different offices. It's obviously too soon to tell what the Issue 5 group would look like after this is done, but what are some of the short and long-term changes you would think would be part of the reform process moving forward if Issue 5 passes in the slate?
Speaking for myself, look, I think that there's some logic, and maybe the county coroner shouldn't be elected, right? Maybe there's some of those positions that should not be elected, and I think that in terms of we set up a charter, we want to think about economic development, and maybe there should be an economic development commission, and that there should be, kind of thinking about, you've got 30 different school districts in the county. Is there some way that we can do have some office of cross-government cooperation? We're trying to think regionally right now in terms of doing economic development in this time frame, and maybe we need some sort of real commitment in the charter to think about both internal inside the county government cooperation, and outside of that, how do we cooperate with counties across the region? So the charter gives us an opportunity to think about that, to do that, to put it into our proposal for 2010 that the people have an opportunity to vote on. Right. The problem with their proposal is that it really is this, balkanization of the county. It's this, it sets up, right now we have 58 cities, communities, villages, townships, who are all vying for economic development dollars, road projects, bridge projects. Now you're setting up another layer of government within these 11 wards and districts. We've got the councilman from District A who's going to be having a tug-of-war with the councilman from District B in order to figure out who gets more road dollars or economic development dollars. One of the things that's okay, that I think is a good idea in their proposal, is this Economic Development Commission. Right? It's a good idea. But what their proposal does is it sets up this great contradiction between an Economic Development Commission that's going to think about the county in kind of global terms, and now setting up this division between 11 council members who are all going to be fighting over, those dollars that may or could be coming from this Economic Development Commission. So I think those are things that we're trying to, think through thoughtfully, logically, and put on the ballot in 2010, where we all kind of have some input into making sure we don't have those great contradictions that they do.
issue 6, for the most part, was hatched, I'll say, for the most part in private. Very few people know what the process was. Even now it's still unclear how the 11 districts were drawn. I mean, they're already drawn. When this thing, if this passes, these districts actually happen with little or any public input at all. What is your assessment of the process they used? I mean, what's your understanding of how they came to the conclusions they came to?
I don't know. I wish I knew. All of a sudden there was a map, right? And it had districts drawn up. I'm not sure how they created them. Who created them. All of a sudden we know that they put together this map of the world in Cuyahoga County, and supposedly it'll allow for inclusion, black districts, potentially a Hispanic district, Republican districts. I don't know who put that together or how it got created or crafted, but it doesn't make a lot of sense, to be honest with you.